my stamping friends. It's Christine from Christine's Stamping Spot. I'm an independent demonstrator in Alberta, Canada, and thank you for joining me today for my July 21st Mystery Monday video. Great to be back with you. So I thought we would continue with a little bit of a summer theme, kind of, at least for the next couple weeks, because it is summertime, although today it is raining. It's been raining for the last couple days, but we do need the rain for all of the forest fires that are burning in the northern part of our country. So we're very, very happy for the rain, and it has been kind of dry, but hoping to see some more sunshine tomorrow. So the project we're going to do today uses this Notes and Totes bundle. And if you are looking for it, you can find it in our annual catalog. It's on page 81, and it's a stamp set and dies, and it is sold as a bundle or individually. So we are going to play with this today, and I have seen some amazing, amazing projects using this stamp set, and especially the dies. You can sort of make like some 3D little bags and things like that. I didn't have a chance to do much of that for today to show you, but I am hoping to work on that, and we'll post them hopefully sometime this week, just so you can see some other things that you can do with this amazing bundle. So this is the stamp set. It has some really fun little greetings, and then you get a whole bunch of dies. Okay, so you get some to make the bag, some pockets, some fences, you get some little snails and starfish, some sunglasses, and a whole bunch of different pieces, different water bottles and cups and things. So you can go crazy with this, with patterns, with paper, designer papers, little accents here and there. Just so many great things that you can do with this bundle. Okay, so let me show you what we are going to make. And it is this one. I thought this was a little bit summery. I have someone I want to send this card to. She has a summer birthday next month, so we're going to try to send this off. But it uses some of that beautiful Floral Impressions Designer Series paper, so I'll show you a little bit of that. I use that for the bag. And this Petunia Pop, which is one of our in colors, which is around for one more year. And I thought that was just really nicely coordinated with the designer paper. So let me show you how we are going to put this together. Maybe just leave this here for reference. Okay, so I did cut a bunch of pieces ahead of time, but we will start with our base, which is basic white. And I will post all of these measurements and supply list on the post and also on my YouTube channel. So remember to subscribe to that when you check it out. And then we're going to use a layer of the Petunia Pop, 5 1/4 by 4. So our usual card base and matte. Okay, just make sure you are opening it the right way. You could probably also do it this way as a vertical card, but we're going to stick to horizontal here. And put that on. And then I ran another piece of basic white through the mini corrugated 3D embossing folder. So this is a really fun folder to add some extra texture to your projects. So we will add that. I don't know if it really matters which side. I'm going to put a little more adhesive on here because I don't want this to come off. You could probably pop it up with some dimensionals too if you wanted, but we'll just try to put it flat. Okay, so now let's try to start building our bag. Okay, so here is that designer series paper, that Floral Impressions. Lots of great patterns in there. I love this paper. And I don't know if you can see, but with the die, you get some score lines here, and you get some stitching around the edges, and enough that you could make this into a little 3D bag and put some little treats or little whatever you wanted to put in there. Okay, so this little piece down here, we're not going to make it a 3D. We're just going to lay it flat. But I'm just going to snip off this bottom piece because we don't need it. And then I'm just going to gently fold and burnish these score lines, because some of these we're going to fold back as well. We're not going to need them. And sometimes it's a little tricky to see those score lines on designer paper, so just be patient with it. So you get the right angles, and then this bottom piece also folds up here, okay? So this bottom flap and these two these two thin flaps on the very edges we're not going to need. So I'm just going to put some adhesive on the back of those and fold them in. Okay, so you just do it, or you can use glue, whatever your preferred adhesive is fine. And we'll fold up this bottom piece as well. Okay, so this is really going to be our bag. Okay, so then I wanted to accent this with some of these Petunia Pop stitching and things here. So this is a die, one of the dies in this set. So let me just see if I can show you, just so you know. It is this one down here. So you get 2 strips and then this longer base piece, okay? So we're just going to put some adhesive on the back of these strips. You could use adhesive sheets if you wanted to, but I am just going to use I'm just going to call it snail, our new seal, sorry. Okay, and then where this score line is on this flap, we're going to adhere it just on the outer edge of that score line, okay? So we will put it here up to the top, and then we will do the same on the left side. Okay, so let's turn this around, find that score line, and let me just see. If it's easier to just fold it up to see it, feel free to go ahead and do that, because sometimes it's a little bit tricky with designer paper to see where those lines are. Okay, and if you have any sort of sticking over the top, you can just snip off those little tiny pieces, okay, just so they're not overhanging. Okay, and then we're going to put on our bottom. So this is also from that same die, and I'm going to put the stitching goes on the top, and it will, oh, maybe I should trim this at the bottom here too. It will, or should, line up perfectly with that the bottom edge here, okay? So I'll put some adhesive on, and then it should fit just right like this with the stitching on the top, okay? So it's coming together. It's all these little details, I think, that make these projects so fun. And I was just playing with this for quite a while today before starting to do this video, because I was thinking, oh, what else could I do? What else can I play with? Okay, so that would basically be the stitching parts on our bag. Okay, so now let's add our handle. So that is another die, which is this one right here. Maybe I should turn it around so it looks like a handle. Okay, so I also cut that out of our Petunia Pop, and I'm just going to put adhesive on these bottom parts there, and just eyeballing it. I'm going to try to center that, maybe like so. Okay, so you have a little bit of a handle there, right? Now it's looking more like a bag. And then I'm going to add the little pocket. So for that die, it is this one here. Let me just move this out. It is this center one. So I don't know if you can see there's stitching on it. So this is going to make the pocket and then the bottom portion. So what I did was I cut it out twice. Once out of the basic white, and then I cut it out again from Petunia Pop, because I just want this top piece. Okay, so I'm just going to snip off just below those stitch lines, because I still want them to show. Okay, so I'm just going to snip that off and then put some adhesive in this and just add it on top to look like my pocket flap. Okay, like so. Ta-da! Okay, so before I add our little heart, I'm going to do our sunglasses. Okay, now what I did, the sunglasses actually come out of this die here. So this is all one piece. So you have the hollow dots and then you have the solid dots. So what I did is I ran it through once on black because I wanted the lenses to be black. And then I put an adhesive sheet on the back of a piece of petunia pop and I cut out this portion because it's just going to be the rim on the lenses and it's just easier for me to use an adhesive sheet to stick those down. Okay, so this is what they came out like. So you've got the black and then you have the little outline here and it has the adhesive sheet on the back. So I'm going to peel that off and see how this lines up here. Now you could do sunglasses. Oh my gosh, you could do gold rims, silver rims. You could do silver as your lenses. Like you could go just so wild with these. It's just so much fun to play with these. Okay, so now the black may not, that bridge may not line up exact, but that's okay. We can always snip that off. All right, so I have this little black bridge under there that I'm just gonna snip off. If you wanted, you could snip it off, snip them apart beforehand, but I didn't think to do that. So, because I just needed this one bridge, so just be careful you don't snip them in half, because that, I can see myself doing that. It's really fine, so you don't want to break it there. Oh, this little piece here is bothering me. Okay, that'll do. Okay, so those, oh no, that's just bothering me. So get rid of this here. Okay, that'll have to do. Just a little bit of OCD kicking in there, I guess. All right, stop fiddling or I'm gonna wreck it, I'm sure. Okay, so when I cut these rims out of that petunia pop, it gave me the heart that I'm going to use on my pocket. Okay, isn't that just the cutest little heart? So because I cut these out of an adhesive sheet, the rims, there's also an adhesive sheet on the heart. Is that not just handy? Okay, so let's center our heart sort of in the center there of our pocket flap. It's not quite, oh my goodness, okay, that should do. Right, so there is our pocket. Okay, so now because I want to eventually put my sunglasses in my pocket, I am going to raise this on some dimensionals. Because if I put it flat, of course, my little sunglasses aren't going to fit inside my bag. So we're just going to raise this up and make it a real sort of pocket because this is kind of a scrapbooking technique too. I was busy with the virtual album retreat that Stampin' Up! Held this weekend. So that's why I'm a little bit behind on my video. But a great little tip for making a pocket, if you want it raised and you want to put in like some little tags or whatever, just pop your cardstock up on some dimensionals and it will give you that much of a gap that you can insert whatever you want to put in there. Okay, so let's try to center this with those handles a little bit, like so. Okay, so I think we're ready to put this on our bag. Okay, so these flaps still kind of push out a little bit, so you might still get a little bit of a 3D look. Okay, so we are going to add this on, excuse me, with some dimensionals. And I'm just going to put my dimensionals on the outer edge of the score line on each side. So you can use regular size, frog in my throat, excuse me, or just the minis, whatever you feel comfortable with. I think the large ones are fine. They don't peek out too badly, but if you're worried, just stick a mini down there. And I'll put one here and one at the top, and maybe I will put one or two on the bottom as well, because that way, if you do put anything through, it should hopefully not fall through the bottom of your bag. It'll give it a little bit of an anchor there. Okay, so let's bring in our base. And we are going to put this a little bit to the left because I have my happy birthday here. Okay, so it's okay if I go off a little bit. Excuse me, my goodness, real frog. All right, so we will just sort of pop this up. Oops, that was a little bit too far. There we go. It's a little bit better there. Okay. So it does still have a teeny bit of that fold there, depending how you put it on your card. Okay, so you have some room on the inside here to tuck a couple of things. Okay, so for my greeting, I just measured random size of this, but I used the Happy Birthday from the Labeled with Love. This is actually a set that retired this year, but I really like this little Happy Birthday, so that's why I'm using it. So just use whatever you have, whatever occasion you want your project for. It can be something current for sure. And then I'm going to pop this up with some dimensionals too and put this in the top right corner. Whoops. Okay, that's because there's all these little pieces, all these little details, but they're so worth it at the end. Okay, so I might have to tuck this a little bit under my bag, but I'm okay with that. Okay, so now we can, maybe I should have put those dimensionals. I'm just gonna tuck this one here on the other side of that crease line. I think that might be a little bit better because I kind of still kind of pop that over. Put this down a little bit too far to the left. Sorry guys. I think I might move these to the inside. I think that, I don't know if it will, but we'll see how this works. Because I did kind of still want a little bit of a 3D look to this. So if I don't, that's just how it is. Okay, so not really, but you can play with that. As long as you have that little opening there, that's good. Okay. So now let's add our scarf. So this is out of the same Floral Impressions designer paper. I just picked more of a solid pattern and pulled a little bit of that green out of there. So I'm just going to attach that with a glue dot. You could use adhesive if you wanted. I'm just going to sneak a glue dot off of here. And I'm just going to add it on top of this one, this little sort of circle here. And just stick it down like that. I'm fine if it's sort of fluttering in the wind, that's fine. Okay, and then I can attach my sunglasses. So I'm going to tuck them a little bit in the pocket and a little bit out. So I will use some minis for that. And I'll just put 2 minis on here. Okay, and then we will just sort of tuck the one in a little, but I still want part of it to show. Okay, like so. And then we are going to add a water bottle. Okay, so I cut this one out of the petunia pop and the cup. So you've got them. This one is the cup, this one is the water bottle. It also has like a bit of a hook on it. So you could probably just hang it from one of the straps on your bag, but I would still tack it down for sure, but to make it look a little more realistic. And then there's also like a bottle here for like sunscreen lotion or something like that. So you can play around with that to decide what bottles you would like. And then I just added a little bit of those, I recut it twice, once in the petunia pop, once on that designer paper, just to give me a little bit of accent on those cups. Okay, so let's put our water bottle in first. And I mean, if you don't want to add the designer paper, you don't have to. It just makes it look a little more coordinated for me. Okay, so let's stick this one in maybe here. Actually, I probably didn't need this one on the bottom. So let's just take that off, because you're not even going to see the bottom. So I probably didn't even need to put that designer paper there, but I did. Okay, so let's tuck this in and have it stick out a little bit. And then our cup we will put in as well. Maybe I'll put a little mini down here. It's just all these little details, like I said, that just put your project over the top, right? I think whoever gets this card should feel pretty lucky that you're investing the time, because it's just so cute. Okay, there's our cup. And last, I'm going to add a few embellishments. So these are the Tinsel Gems 3-pack, which also retired, but I really like these pink gems in there. So if you have something else, feel free, depending on what your color palette is, right? You don't have to add any if you don't want to, but I think it's kind of fun just to add a few. Okay, so let's use, I don't know, should I go in a different pattern? Just up and down? I'll do it the same. Okay, so this one and that one and this one. And I think that's all we had to do to finish our project. So there you go, a Notes and Totes happy birthday card. And like I said, I am going to play with this some more, because I didn't have a ton of time for today, but I will try to post some more projects using this bundle this week on my website, on my Facebook page, I'm sorry, and probably on the website too. So be sure to check those out, and we will see you again next week with another summer project. Have a great week, everyone. Bye for now.